Hi guys, in today's video I wanted to share with you my favorite concealer. I love this concealer, and the reason I wanted to talk about this concealer, because I know everyone kind of has their own favorite, is that this is unlike any other concealer I've ever really tried, because this is the type of concealer that you can use all over your face. It gives you enough coverage, but it doesn't feel like it's heavy, and it has like a little bit of something else that isn't just concealer. It sort of makes your skin look better. And as someone who doesn't have perfect skin, even unfortunately with makeup on, I still have imperfections, I figured I would share with you something that I find to really help, and do so in like a really quick way. And you know, it's one of those things where I now have kind of stopped or paused wearing foundation, because I feel like this concealer is sort of all I need for like a quick all over the face, mostly in the center of the face coverage and perfecting situation. And so that's what I've been using. So I figured I would share it with you because it's just really a great product to try. It is by YSL and it's called Touche Eclat High Cover. So this is the newer version of their original Touche Eclat. This is meant to be less of a lightening concealer and more of a high coverage concealer. It's not one, though, if you're like hearing high cover, it's not one that in my experience is going to give you kind of like a cakiness or even honestly high cover. I would say it's very much of a medium cover concealer, but it just goes on beautifully. So I'm going to show you guys the application of this concealer, sort of the before and the after, so you can see how easy it is to apply. That's actually one reason I love it. It's a pen, and you've got this applicator brush on one side, and you disperse what's the word I'm looking for? Dispense this concealer through a button here. It's a very convenient design, super easy to use. As someone who's very kind of lazy and wants to do her makeup fairly quickly, although it never happens, I always take forever, but my concealer, at least this part, takes very little time, and I think it makes a ton of difference. The only downside with the packaging is that you can't see how much you have left. So once I've been using it for a while, I start to be like, okay, how much do I have left? And I tend to get a second one just so that I don't run out of it because that's how much I love it. In fact, I actually have a backup of this. So I used to use the original Touche Eclat, and that one I also loved. It was definitely much more of a brightening concealer, and I love them both. But the reason I'm now using the high cover one is that the original one, I believe, has talc, and the new one, the high cover one, doesn't. Again, if you're concerned about talc and you really want to get this one over that one because of talc, I would just make sure and double check, make sure your one doesn't have talc in the ingredients list. But that was the reason why I'm using this one, and I love them both, and I love this one, and because I don't see talc on the ingredients list, it makes all the sense in the world for me to go with this one. There's a little bit of a difference. The lightening one, the original one, is more of a lightening concealer. This one does offer a little bit more coverage. This one's also a little bit more subtle in terms of the brightening effect, so it doesn't pop as much. As far as the color options, and I can't say for every color because I've only ever tried one, I was 1.5 in the original one, and I chose to get 1.5 in the new one, and I think both of them match me well. But the 1.5 in the high cover one, the one I'm talking about, is a little bit darker than the 1.5 in the lightning one. So I think the coloring might be, at least from my experience, like it should work for you if you get the same color, but it's going to be less brightening. So something to keep in mind. But that's as far as I can comment on the coloring. So what I'm looking to get from this concealer is just general tone, evening out and concealing any redness, especially around my nose or my chin. I always tend to have redness there. I don't know why. I also have dark circles that I like to conceal and cover up. I don't have the darkest dark circles, but I definitely have them, especially if I don't get a good night's sleep. Which I don't recommend. I always try to get a full night of sleep, but occasionally it does happen, and then I rely on this. And also what I do as well with this concealer is, because I don't wear foundation, I like to add this on top of my nose where I have blackheads. And I find that if I add this concealer on top and I blend it in, the blackheads end up sort of being concealed and you don't see them as much, which is really, really important to me. It's actually one of the things like I like to conceal. Definitely my under eyes, definitely around my nose because I have a ton of redness, and then the blackheads on my nose. I know it's gross, but if you have blackheads and you know don't want to wear foundation but want to wear something that would kind of help to diminish them visually, then something like this is a really great thing to kind of try, even if you don't need to wear color or coverage on your nose otherwise. I feel like this is definitely a good thing to try. So overall, again, it gives like a really beautiful subtle color to the skin. It conceals things without being like overly concealy. It blends really easily. I tend to do kind of like strokes. I look really funny when I first apply it, but what I do is I take one of my favorite brushes. I can also show you, which is this one here. This is by Hourglass. I think it's a foundation brush, but it works perfectly for this concealer. Yes, they're both luxury items, but this concealer does last me for a long time and I feel like I get a lot of use out of it, and this brush hopefully will last me for maybe my lifetime. I try to take very good care of it, and I feel like this is one of those investment brushes that is so worth investing into and then taking care of it, and then you can use an amazing brush for years and years and years to come. And anyway, I love this one. I feel like it just blends things very easily, and it's sort of like it's just my go-to. I used to use a sponge as well. I like sponges, but I feel like they tend to be harder to clean, and as someone with acne prone skin, I always try to find products and brushes that are just easier to clean, easier to maintain, just as clean as possible so I don't cause any more acne. I don't need more acne, thank you very much. So anyway, I love the coverage. I love how easy it is to apply, and I also love that extra special something that this particular concealer line has that other concealers I have a really hard time finding in other concealers, because it just gives your skin this beautiful kind of, it just like ties everything together. It's really hard to explain it because it's not necessarily the color, it's not necessarily like that kind of mask of color, it's not particularly that glowy. I don't know what it is, but it just smooths your skin out without like clogging any pores. I've never experienced any kind of acne with it. It has a little bit of something in it, something special that is really hard to replicate. And it's not heavy, and it doesn't offer a lot of just coverage, even the high cover option, but it has enough, and you'll always feel so much better after using it. I don't know how else to explain it other than the fact that it's just like one of those like almost irreplaceable concealers for me that I just love, and I feel like it's definitely worth a try if you're looking for something just to kind of wear all over your face, especially if you want to step away from maybe wearing higher coverage foundations or concealers, and you want to try something that's a little bit lighter in coverage but should hopefully give you the results that it gives me and will make you fall in love with it the way I fell in love with it myself. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna end this video. As always, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'm giving you a big hug. I am wishing you all of the best wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and I hope you can join me in the next video. Bye!